Okay, here we are, week 5 of Vegas Horse Proxy Pool's Circa Contests. For those that watched last week, and I'm sure you got a taste of it, Scott, those mighty Broncos taking out the Jets. I think we become the number 1 tout service last week with that big pick. Go ahead.
Well, let me stop you because I wouldn't say we. I'm going to say this. I know one of the best bettors in the country, one of the best bookies in the country, and I think the best tout in the country, and it's all you, Adam. I think you're great. I'm anxious to see what you give away this week. I've been talking to a bunch of friends. We should double our audience this week after the pick last week, based on what I'm being said in DMs. I'm really excited. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit hyped up. I've got my hat on like I always do, but Nebraska is on TV right now, and they just sealed the deal. Okay. I was talking earlier in the week. I thought Nebraska would hang half 100 on them. They hung 14, but you know what? 14 got us there. The defense played out of their mind. I could not be happier. So I'd say, hopefully, the book. Did your book end up at 7 on that game also?
I believe so.
Okay.
So then, I imagine that wasn't a good one in the end.
I gotcha. Well, the worst part about it for your side is if you have to refund the money, you still get to pay the taxes.
Correct.
That's the worst part.
That's 100%. That's why that excise tax needs to be removed. If the regulated market wants to compete with offshore and whatnot, that's one of the first things they can go after.
Very much true. I say let's get started with this. As everybody is well aware, the Circa contest so far has been an utter chaos. We're down to, 4% of survivors left? So wow. I say let's talk about the survivors first, because I ain't got many of them left. I've got a couple. And it looks like they're pretty evenly distributed between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the San Francisco 49ers. How about that, Adam? You have any big positions on this one for the book?
No. So San Fran's very balanced across the board, including the sharp players. But 100% will be needing the Colts. So happy to see more of those survivors lose their way with the Jags getting beat. Not as big as last week's with the Jets and the Broncos. But, I'll be right now cheering the Colts to win that game outright.
So that is one you definitely need. Is that going to be one of your big 3 or 5 that you're going to tell today?
No, it's kind of 3rd or 4th in the list.
3rd or 4th.
And again, right now, generally these hold up. I've noticed the last few weeks I've been sort of checking what we speak about tonight on the Saturday night, and then if that still holds up on the Sunday. And generally they have been. So it seems like anything we speak of today is what we go into the game with tomorrow as.
Yeah. When I did this study about 7 years ago, the study, when I ran it, said we could do this on Saturday and the numbers would hold up. So It doesn't surprise me. I didn't know you were running a similar test, but if I would have known, I would have told you. I've already ran the test and it will hold up. So let's do this then. If it's your 4th, let's go ahead and let the Jaguars win, because I'd kind of like to see the guys that still have entries with me still have entries with me. So let's get that one to player.
And I think on the millions pick, the Jags were the biggest pick. Again, top down was 2.5 on the Circa thing. Moved to I think it's 3 minus 20 now. So the money's definitely heading that way. The line headed that way. 3 is not a good number for us if it lands on that. So again, either blow them out or get beat. That's where I'm at on that game right now.
Okay. And you've already tipped our hand here. The number 1 pick in millions going away. Half my entries had this on their ticket, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars at minus 2.5. So it was no shock to me to see Jacksonville as one of the main ones on Survivor. So let me tell you, we got a couple more that stand out. I actually have about 3 or 4 that stand out. The next one that I have that stands out is none other than the Chicago Bears, minus 3.5. What do you think there, Adam?
That one so far, we're very balanced. Again, I think people just coming in against the Panthers, rating them sort of as the worst team in the league. while they, knocked out a bunch of survivors when they beat the Raiders a few weeks ago. But yeah, that one doesn't surprise, and it seems to be shorting up and heading to 4 as well. We've laid a lot of 4 plus 4.5 plus 4. So on that game, 4 is really a bad number should it land. So again, let this right now. It's Bears just blow them out and make it easy.
That sounds good. That sounds real good. Let's go to number 3. This is none other than the Rams at -3.5. I think that's a minus. No, it's a +3.5. I'm sorry. The type on this is really, really faint for me. So what do you have here on the Rams? Is this one of your big games?
No, this one's fairly balanced. Again, I think we'll likely need Green Bay, but Circa was a +3.5. The game's now very, very steady at 3. So if you could get 3.5 in a real situation right now, you'd be all over it. So that one looks fairly balanced, but I imagine we'll need Green Bay when that game kicks tomorrow.
Sounds good. All right, the last one I really want to talk about is the Seattle Seahawks. -6.5, it looks like. What do you think about this one?
Seattle definitely need the Giants on that one. It's gone from 6.5 to 7. Book's sort of the same thing. It does look like we definitely need the Giants to cover there. Very heavy on the smart money at the Seahawks at the -6.5, nothing at the 7. So definitely need the G-men on that one tomorrow.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's go ahead and do one more, because now that I'm looking at this a little more, I think we should include this one. This is none other than the Vikings at -2.5. What do you think here?
I was going to save this one for the last one, but you've got it up now. Here we go again. They've come again. The money, there is more money on the Jets this week than any other side. So, it'll be a nice early game. Thankfully, I will actually be at the airport because I'm heading out to Vegas, heading out your way tomorrow. So I will usually I don't wake up for the London games. They happen and I wake up and I get a score the last year when they sort of happen. But yeah, we need the Vikings. We need them big. So I hope, Jets fans, I'm sorry, but I hope you go down and you go down hard. And I hope Minnesota just stay on the roll and get the W over there in London.
Okay, and I wanted to address something real quick before we go much further, because there is a lot of talk on the net about what we're talking about right now. Looking at the bookies side and taking the bookies side. That's not what we're talking about here, guys. We're not saying, Adam, give me the bookie side on every one of the NFL games. That is not a positive expectation, because the bookie gets the +110, you get the -110. It's not positive. We are circling in on the biggest positions, the top 3 or less. Those are the ones that are very, very powerful to bet. So if somebody tells you fading the crowd is not profitable, they're absolutely positively right. But there is this very small subset where you can fade the crowd and make money. And what Adam is telling you this week, that #1 team is the New York Jets. Right, Adam?
That's it. 2 weeks in a row. Hopefully they show up again and lose the game.
I got you. So what we'll do here, since you're flying to Vegas, we'll have to make some kind of bet on the game. The problem is we both want the same side, I guess, so that's not going to work out very well. We'll do supper anyway. What do you think about that?
All right, fine, we can do that.
I'll talk you into supper. But I did want to mention about the fading the crowd thing, because there is so much discussion about it. Adam, I'm sure you've heard people tell you that for the last 30 years. To win in this game, all you have to do is fade the crowd. And you and I both know that's not true. But there is this very small subset, and this is the only subset we talk about, where I truly believe this is a profitable play. Adam, I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, on this one as well, the pros are super heavy on Minnesota. So there's, again, not all games are equal. We've got some games where the house needs against both rec and pro players. This one, just in particular, it's happened that the pros are heavy. I think 85% of the money from the pros is on Minnesota. And then the overall money, I think it's like 82% is on the Jets. So these are the games that just sort of land this way. But the biggest thing about following anything is you need to get the numbers. You need to get every bet. It's almost impossible to follow anybody on NFL, NBA, especially the American sports with those big numbers. And generally, that's why whenever I bet something, I don't release it or I don't do any kind of touting on that side of things because the price doesn't exist. If I'm betting something, I'm taking it everywhere and I'm going to make sure it moves. I'm not going hard on some of these American sports, NBA, college sports, things like that. They're just not my forte, and it's not where I sort of target my energy. It's lesser things, lower hanging fruit, etc. Especially these days where I don't have much time to bet anyway, with everything else going on. But there is another one that just caught my eye. Is Cincinnati, Baltimore, and there's one more game that I saw in your chart that I want to talk about after this. Heavy money on Cincinnati, so we'll definitely be looking for the Ravens in that game tomorrow to cover and blow out the Bengals. And you know my opinion on the Bengals right now. Fuck the Bengals. So I hope they get destroyed and continue that downward spiral for the season. But there was one other game I saw in your chart that was super interesting. Washington, Cleveland. I think the Circa number was 3. I think it was about 10% of the picks were on this game. It was like 5.5% on Washington -3. Cleveland plus the 3 was like 4.5%. And we've gotten heavy bets on Cleveland there. I was kind of surprised, that so many sort of played Washington minus the 3. But a lot of money, and particularly again on the pro side, I think we're at like 87% of master money, 84% of the bets, and then any of the other money as well on the Cleveland. So we'll definitely 100% need the Commanders at home there.
Well, let me ask you: is that being driven by your Ohio market, or is that holding up in New Jersey also?
It's mainly New Jersey stuff. There was nothing particular on the. Okay, there is a couple of things on the Ohio side as well on that, but it's mainly on the New Jersey one on the NFL tomorrow.
Okay. I was thinking maybe it was just hometown team, but it sounds like it's more than that if it's coming out of New Jersey.
It looks like it. So that was definitely interesting, because I always, while we look at the ones with the most picks, I also look at the games that get heavy on both sides, because again, on yours particular, a lot of it's top-down players. You can identify quickly the ones that they come in hard on. It's the Rams plus 3.5 that's going to 3, Seattle minus 6.5 going to 7, Jags minus 2.5 going to 3 minus 20. But then the other interesting ones is where there's such a differing opinion that you're doing, 10% of the picks on a particular game, and yet they're fairly well balanced out on both sides, which shows that, I'm guessing that your players coming through your proxy, generally know what they're doing. So it's very much a balanced game from where people are seeing that tomorrow.
Yeah, I would actually argue that the customers I have are considerably sharper than your average, because these are all Spank Odds users. These are all Bet Bash goers. The guys that I have are serious. These aren't your afternoon guys that are just deciding to enter a tournament. These are serious people that I'm dealing with. So I would expect my numbers to be a little bit sharper than the average. That's why the first week when we hit almost dead on, I was really kind of surprised. But
right.
Hey, the Survivor is a lot of fun. I got to say, I really enjoy doing the proxy work. It's a lot of work, but I had a real good back end server built by one of the guys who works for Spanky on Spank Odds. So I could not be happier about that. But I did want to say one thing to you. and let everybody else know that I used to have the number one question that I got at Spank Odds used to be, when are you guys adding Prime? Well, I know why you're laughing, because we got Prime now, and we're very, very happy to have Prime. Here's the problem, Adam. Now I have a new number one question. Would you like to guess what it is? Take a look at your book and tell me it is.
It's either when are you getting first halves or quarters, or is it waiting for a new sport?
I'm getting both questions. And I'm getting a little bit of, hey, when are you posting their limits too? So you're still number one in customer support for Spank Odds. You have not lost your title there. So I just wanted to give you the good news. So if you would release more sports and give us first halves, you could reduce my workload at Spank Odds support, and I'd appreciate it. So if you'd think about that.
Everything's being worked on, and all in good time, things will arrive.
I have to try. So tell us this. Tell us some good news. Another question I get very often is, are your numbers good in Ohio and New Jersey? And we cover that every single week here. You have one number, it's for both states. So the question is, for somebody like me who's out here in the desert by myself, when are you adding that third state?
So Kentucky should be online sometime, I think. Listen, everything's been going good with the next couple of states. As I said previously, targeting pre-Thanksgiving, but I've been doing this long enough to know that pre-Christmas will be fine.
Yeah.
We're working through it. Regulators have been great help. Now we're just working on the sort of third-party integrations that were needed. And again, just trying to push it along as quickly as possible and get up and just start taking more bets.
Yeah, it sounds good. I got to give you a hard time about that every time.
Of course.
Until you actually, and as soon as you get the book in Nevada, what I'm going to hit you up for next is a job, because I'm looking to be a trader. I'm ready to come out of retirement and go behind the book again. So it'll never be done between me and you. We're in this for forever together.
It sounds good.
Well, that's about all I have here today. Do you have anything fun to close with?
No, nothing major. I think we've given out, again, some good information. As I said, I'm heading your way tomorrow. We'll catch up when I get to town. And then I believe next Saturday I may be doing this from your way, but things move fast, so who knows?
Yeah, that'll be cool. Wherever you're at, we'll do it. So another thing I want to make sure you guys realize, when Adam says there's a game that's evenly balanced, that is not a game you should fade the public, because the public is evenly balanced. So just take a look at the ones he gave away and profit on them tomorrow. Hopefully my guys that are in Survivor are going to survive the day, and we'll be able to talk about them next week. Adam, that's it for me. I'll let you close us out.
All right. I've got nothing else. All the best,
Sounds
everyone, tomorrow, and good luck. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.